Hey guys, Joe at Small Home Off-Grid Prepping. Welcome to our channel. So today I'm going to be talking about three ways and explaining three ways to you guys. But first, before I jump into that, on the last video I asked you guys a question. I'm going to give you the answer right now. If it was legal per code, and of course this says 40, I'm only showing you a 2-pole here. This would be a 20, wouldn't be a 40. But the question was can you take two separate circuits and put a wire in this breaker, a wire in this breaker, and run those for two different circuits, like two different bedrooms or whatever happens to be, but two separate circuits, and then share the neutral between them. Okay, so that was the question. If you look at the last video, I'll include it in the end screen here. You can see that at the end of the video. The answer to that was a little bit of a trick question, okay, because the answer to that is not only yes, the answer is you have to, okay. This is called a multi-wire branch circuit, and in a multi-wire branch circuit, you have to have a simultaneous means of disconnect. So you see this handle's tied here. Code will allow you to use two individual breakers. It doesn't have to be a 2-pole, but the handles have to be tied together. Reason being is you're sharing the neutral, okay? So if these were individual breakers that are sharing the neutral, keeping in mind a neutral is a current carrying conductor. It's the grounded conductor, not the ungrounded, it's the grounded conductor within the system is the neutral. It's grounded, it's bonded to the ground, and it's considered a grounded conductor, okay? So it is a current carrying conductor, and if you were sharing one neutral between two circuits here, and you only turned off one breaker, then you're still running the risk of being shocked through the other one. It's still going to send current through into the other neutral. And I've been zapped many times by neutrals working on older houses that have shared neutrals, and let me tell you, it hurts. I think a neutral zap might hurt worse than getting zapped by the hot wire. Same thing if you get zapped in water. If you touch water that's been electrified, that's always hurt worse than getting zapped by just the hot wire itself, which I've been zapped by. So the answer is, like I said, it's not only yes, it is you have to as well per code. And let's take a quick look at that here. We're going to find that in 210.7. Let's just take a quick look in our NEC code book over here, and I'll show you guys. Alright, so we're looking at multi-wire branch circuits. Alright, branch circuits recognized by this article shall be permitted as multi-wire circuits. Okay, now keep in mind a multi-wire circuit means that you're using a 2-pole breaker and you are actually sharing the neutral. So it basically means you're sharing the neutral. And if you take a look here, like I said, branch circuits recognized by this article shall be permitted as multi-wire circuits. A multi-wire circuit shall be permitted to be considered as multiple circuits. Okay, so this could be two separate circuits, of course, except as permitted in 303B, which doesn't apply to what I'm talking about right now. All conductors of a multi-wire branch circuit shall originate from the equipment containing the branch circuit overcurrent protective device or protective devices. Okay, now if we go down here to disconnecting means, we get the answer. Each multi-wire circuit shall be provided with a means that will simultaneously disconnect all ungrounded conductors, okay, at the point where the branch circuit originates. So all ungrounded conductors. So like I said, guys, you find this in Article 210, 4B. Basically 4A and 4B is mainly what you find in here. So the answer to the question is yes, you could. But the further answer is you have to, okay? If you're going to do what my question was in the last one, it's not only legal, but you have to use a 2-pole breaker to disconnect both circuits at once. All right, so guys, let's go talk about three-way switches here. I put together some diagrams for you. Okay, so this is a diagram explaining to you how three-ways will work here. Three-way being that you have a room like a living room, dining room, whatever, and it has two switches, one on each side of the wall, opposite ends of the room. So if you turn one switch on, you can turn the lights on and off from either switch, basically. And this is how your three-way works, okay? I have a little pointer here. I'm just going to point things out to you guys. As you see here, we're showing line voltage or the hot leg, okay? That is power coming in. And power coming in would go to the black screw on the three-way switch. Okay, there's going to be 3 screws, and I have that explained a little better on the bottom here, so I won't get into it. So current would be coming in. So now this switch, as example, these switches are what's called closed in both positions, okay, which means they're basically on in either position. They don't have an off that actually leaves the switch open. They're both closed in either position. So on this top drawing, you see the power would come into the three-way switch. It would connect to the black. It runs through what's called travelers, okay? Now on the other switch, well, both switches, you're going to have one black screw and 2 golds, okay? So your travelers will connect to the gold. So if this switch is up and this switch is up, as example, you see here the power will come in and will run through over here. This switch being up, the continuity is going to this screw, which would be over here, this gold one, and goes on and the light is on. So we have a complete path coming from the hot leg over here through the switch coming over here, and like I said, these switches here are in line together, okay? So you have continuity coming straight through and it goes to the bulb. Now let's take a look down here. We have the same thing. We have this switch in this position here, and you see I drew this little line on these to show you which way the current would be going here. So that's a line in the switch. So this switch is still up, but now what we've done is we've put this switch down. So now you see here the continuity is on the bottom traveler, okay? Because this switch is down, this switch is now putting this in position. So now the current would come in through here, would run through this traveler into this switch, but then it's going to stop right here because this switch is down and the current is broken right over here. Now the current is coming this way through this bottom traveler over here, okay? So that being said, we have the same thing, just the opposite. So now we've put this switch in the bottom position. So now we have the line voltage coming in here, and you have continuity going through this part of the switch right over here. So now our current is traveling through the bottom traveler, and you see this switch we had down like in the middle drawing here. So now we have continuity from here. So it comes and it goes through over here. So that is how your three-way works, okay? There's not a lot to it. You have, like I said, these wires here are called travelers. You have a hot leg, you have a switch leg, okay, which this would be the switch leg up over here. You see we're showing on the top that this is a switch leg. So like I said, when the switches are in position to be together, so the continuity will run through both of them, then this light is going to come on. But when you break it, like I said, on the one here, you see the power coming through the switch here, coming to this one here, but now we broke the connection over here. This is a open switch, okay? This part is open here. This part is closed down here. So like I said, the current would stop over here. There is no current coming through here because the same thing, we're open over here. We're not closed. So, but on the bottom, when we put this switch down over here, now we change the continuity down to the bottom. So the current is coming through here, running down this way from the switch to this, what would be this gold screw right over here, and then traveling through into this switch, and one making continuity and turning the light on. So like I said, there's not a lot. Like I said, your three ways, and again, this is not four ways, guys. This is three ways. We'll get into four ways down the road. But like I said, it's not a lot to them. You're basically going to have your two travelers. You're going to have a hot leg. You're going to have a switch leg over here as well. And so I'll show you down here on the bottom. I don't have any three ways. I didn't put any in my house, and I don't have any three ways. But I'll give you an example of how they would look here. Okay, so you have a black screw that's on the three-way switch, and that is where your hot leg and your switch leg would connect to. Okay, both of them over here, just opposite switches. One will have the hot leg coming in, one will have the switch leg going out. Okay, then we have two gold screws, and like I said, they usually are up here. I'm showing them both on the same side, but they're usually not. They're usually on opposite sides. So you'd have like a black on the top, gold on the bottom here. That's the ones I've seen over here. So your gold is where your travelers would connect to. Okay, so it's going to connect from this gold to this gold to this gold. Now keep in mind, I didn't show a diagram here, but the travelers do not matter. This matters. Your hot has to go on to black. Your switch leg has to go on to black. Your travelers don't matter. Okay, if you had this traveler here where I'm showing going on this one, coming around going to this one, be a better example up here. So instead of this going here, if we had this traveler going down to this one here and this traveler going up to this one here, that would not matter. Okay, you're still going to work fine. These switches are never in the correct position anyways, because you see in this one down here, we're showing that the light is on when both switches are turned down over here. So if we cross the travelers, then we might be opposite. Okay, we might be this picture right over here where this switch up and this switch down makes continuity to turn the light on, and then reversing that will turn the light off over there. So that is your three ways. Like I said, if you're an apprentice working in the field, you're an electrician working in the field, or just a customer that wants to know more about how these things work, that's basically how it is. This would originate over here from the power source. Okay, the power source could come from a different receptacle. It depends on how you ran your lighting circuit. It could come directly from a breaker in the box. But like I said, the hot wire, the power connects to the switch here, and then you have two gold screws you connect your two travelers to over here, and then they would connect to the gold on the opposite here, and then the black will go out as a switch leg to the light over there. So there's not a lot to them. They do confuse a lot of people a lot of times, especially working in the field, because you're opening up a box that have all these wires. You got a red, you got a black, you got a white. Per code today, neutrals do have to be tied together in the switch box. You do have to pull your neutral to the switch box, and we'll get into that again in a different video. Years ago, you look at a lot of older houses that have switch boxes, and all you see, a lot of times you'll just see two black wires coming and connecting to a switch. You'll see, one would be the hot, one would be the switch leg, and that's it. There's no other wires there. Today, you do have to, like I said, pull the neutral into the switch box and have the neutral accessible at the switch box. So that's three ways, guys. Not a lot to it. I was going to kind of make this a shorter video because, again, you can hit me up with any questions if you don't understand this, but I tried to be kind of a little bit thorough on this, even though my drawing's bad. So now I'm going to give you guys a diagnostic question, because this is common in the field, okay? You go out, you're an electrician working in the field. You either came behind another electrician who messed up the three-ways, or you had a helper, an apprentice helping you out, and came across it. So this is going to be the most scenario you're going to come across. The customer tells you that this switch on this side of the room, when I turn this on and turn it off, it does absolutely nothing. And the other switch, it does the same thing, unless I go back over here and I turn this switch in this position over here. And then this switch works normal, like a normal light. I can turn a light on, I can turn it off from this switch. So basically, this is what happened, guys. If you look down over here, this is what was done basically when somebody wired this. Now you have the hot leg over here, and again, this I'm showing the hot leg, but the switch leg could give you the same scenario as well. But we're going to talk about the hot leg today. So the hot leg, instead of going to the black screw, which I'm showing over here, you see on the bottom I'm showing black here, coming up over here. Instead of our hot leg going to the black screw, now somebody messed up and they connected the hot leg to the gold screw, which should be the traveler. They connected a traveler over here to the black screw, and now the traveler is going correct over here to the gold screw. So that's basically what they did, okay? They got pretty messed up going on with their wiring, with the switch leg and all that. So the hot leg's not coming into the black screw, the hot leg is coming into one of the gold screws, okay? So now what does that mean? Okay, that means that this black screw here is designed to be closed with the position of this switch. So if the switch is up, it's going to come this way. If the switch is down, it's going to come this way. So now what that means is now you've pulled the hot leg into this one here. So the switch having to be up is the only way you're going to get continuity through here, okay? When the switch is down, the power from this gold screw will not make it down to this gold screw whatsoever, okay? So that means if the switch is down, you have no current in this entire circuit over here. So this switch will not work. It won't do anything. Turn it on, turn it off, there's no lights on whatsoever. Okay. However, this switch, if you now turn this up, now you have the power coming in through this screw over here, which should be a traveler, but now it's going opposite. Instead of coming from the black screw going this way, it's now coming this way, going to the black screw connected to this over here, meaning if the switch is up over here, we now have continuity going to the light over here. If the switch is down, we don't have anything, okay? And I kind of showed you a little bit better on the bottom drawing over here that you see. So yeah, when the switch is down, we now have current going this way over here. So there is no current making it over here. The current is coming in right over here to the black screw. Only has continuity if the switch is in the up position, and then we'll come over here to the traveler, which again will only have continuity to the light over here if the switch is in the up position. So that is a common mistake that you see out in the field there. A lot of times a homeowner will try to put their own three-way in, or an apprentice, you're working on a bigger job and you have the apprentice work on the three-way. I've had a lot of cases as a manager for a company where a apprentice technician, entry-level technician, a little above apprentice, went out to do work on a house and then calls me up and can't figure out what's going on, and you know, try to explain it to them. The best way to figure it out, guys, if you do have a situation like this, I would just usually go in and just take apart the wires, okay? It's very simple. You have 3 wires on each switch, and then from there I'm going to identify which one is my hot leg, and I'm going to connect my hot leg to just one of my travelers, okay? I'm going to pick one, I'm going to connect it to that. That way I'm bringing power over to this box here. Now I'm going to identify that traveler coming in, and I'm going to touch that to what I think is the switch leg, okay? And if the light comes on, I know I have the correct switch leg. So now I identified my correct hot leg in that box. I've identified my correct switch leg. The other 2 are travelers, and usually to confirm that, so I'm not wasting time, I'll wire nut them on one end, and then I'll go to the other end, and I'll ohm them out, just to make sure that more wires weren't crossed up. So even the diagnostics on this isn't real hard. But like I said, usually if I'm diagnosing this, somebody messed it up, I'm coming behind someone else, I'm just going to take it all apart, and I'm going to identify the hot leg, connect the hot leg to a traveler, come to the other end, and I'm going to use that traveler, figure out which traveler was hot. I'm going to use that traveler, and I'm going to just lightly touch it to the switch leg of the light and see if the light comes on. So then I know I identified my switch leg, I identified my hot leg, ohm out my travelers, so I'm positive I got my travelers, and then just rewire it correctly like this over here, the way I've done it. So like I said, guys, that's 3 ways. We're going to be getting into a different video coming up. I'll get a lot of different things. I want to get back into grounding, because the grounding and bonding I did on the last video. If you look here, I'm going to show you guys real quick. Let's go take a look at the NEC book again. Okay, so yeah, you see grounding here starts in the NEC book in Article 250. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's kind of hard. If you're an electrician, a little more experienced, then this is a paperback book here. A lot of the hard copies, I think they come with the tabs put in, but this is a lot better, okay? If you actually get tabs, buy a book without tabs, and then buy separate tabs and put them in yourself. See, they just go in over here. I'm going to say that's a lot better because it actually forces you to go through the entire book and put the tabs in the right place, and you familiarize yourself with your book here. So I would definitely recommend buying a book that doesn't have tabs than installing my own tabs like I did, because then you have to go through every every part, every article in the book here. So anyways, guys, grounding, as you see here, grounding starts right over here, grounding and bonding at 250. And if we come up over here, that means this entire... Alright, so yeah, 251. All of these pages you see over here, this is all on grounding. Every one of these here. We have a bunch of them. They go up to section 122, article 250, section 122. And you just see there's just so much in here on all this here, covering the grounding, concrete, encased electrodes. So I got a lot to get into with grounding. Like I said, the last one I got into was more... basically more for like overcurrent, lightning coming in, stuff like that. You're going to get a quick disbursement in the ground. That is not what grounding really does, though, okay? Grounding is not, you don't have current running through your grounding system. Grounding is giving you a path back to where the electric originates, okay? And again, I'm going to get into this in a whole different thing here. This is why we bond things and this and that. Well, anyways, I'll get into it in the next one. I'm not going to start another video now. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions on the one I just did, hit me up in the comments, and if you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, hit the notification buttons. We have a lot to cover here that we're going to start going through. Even solar is covered in here in NEC. I don't remember where. I'm not going to find it now. I'll find it later for you, because we'll do some videos on NEC and requirements, solar requirements and stuff like that. So all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so yeah, you see grounding here starts in the NEC book in Article 250. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's kind of hard. If you're an electrician, a little more experienced, then this is a paperback book here. A lot of the hard copies, I think they come with the tabs put in, but this is a lot better, okay? If you actually get tabs, buy a book without tabs, and then buy separate tabs and put them in yourself. See, they just go in over here. I'm going to say that's a lot better because it actually forces you to go through the entire book and put the tabs in the right place, and you familiarize yourself with your book here. So I would definitely recommend buying a book that doesn't have tabs than installing my own tabs like I did, because then you have to go through every you know, every part, every article in the book here. So anyways, guys, grounding, as you see here, grounding starts right over here, grounding and bonding at 250. And if we come up over here, that means this entire... Alright, so yeah, 251. All of these pages you see over here, this is all on grounding. Every one of these here. We have a bunch of them. They go up to Section 122, Article 250, Section 122. And you just see there's just so much in here on all this here, covering the grounding, you know, concrete, encased electrodes. So I got a lot to get into with grounding. Like I said, the last one I got into was more... basically more for like overcurrent, lightning coming in, stuff like that. You're going to get a quick disbursement in the ground. That is not what grounding really does, though, okay? Grounding is not, you don't have current running through your grounding system. Grounding is giving you a path back to where the electric originates, okay? And again, I'm going to get into this in a whole different thing here. This is why we bond things and this and that. Well, anyways, I'll get into the next one. I'm not going to start another video now. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions on the one I just did, hit me up in the comments. And if you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, hit the notification buttons. We have a lot to cover here that we're going to start going through. Even solar is covered in here in NEC. I don't remember where. I'm not going to find it now. I'll find it later for you, because we'll do some videos on NEC and requirements, solar requirements and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.